it's me Geeky and welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be my part 2 for my giant haul for the last couple of months. In my previous part it was my shonen and seinen stuff. So for this part we are going to do our Shojo and Josei stuff because that is what we have got the most of. So I think I'm going to do the same as I done in my previous video, and that is to separate them out in between publishers. So I think I'm going to start off with the least and work my way up to the most. So the publisher that has taken my money the most this month, that is Viz Media's Shojo Beat imprint. No surprise there. I'm going to stick in an item that I forgot to put into my previous part, which is a DVD. But before we get started, don't forget to give this video a like, comment and subscribe. You guys know the deal with that. Pop into the Manga Dudette Discord, which is linked down below, for some after hours Manga Dudette fun. But yeah, let's just get started. So I'm going to show you guys the One Piece item that I forgot to show you in my previous part. I picked up One Piece Collection 26, which has Trafalgar Law on the front. So this ends the Punk Hazard arc, I believe, and now we are in Dressrosa. I have watched this all the way through and it's really annoying because it left on a cliffhanger, but I am saving my pennies for my trip at the end of the month, so I will not be purchasing the next volume until next month potentially. But yeah, I'm continuing to enjoy One Piece, and it's One Piece, what more can I say? But back to the manga, which is what you guys have come here for, the Shojo and Josei stuff. I'm going to start off with the publishers that I've done least for, and publishers that I've got only one volume for this month is Square Enix, and I picked up volume 1 of My Happy Marriage. This is a supernatural slow burn romance based on a light novel. I have read this volume, and really enjoyed it. Pleasantly surprised actually, because I heard there was a lot of hype around it and I was like, oh, is it going to live up to its hype? And for me it did. I feel like it's definitely going to be a slow burn. It's a bit of an age gap romance as well, and a bit of a Cinderella type story, as our main character on the front here, I think her name is Mio. She is basically born into a family that has special powers. However, her father was forced to marry a woman from a prestigious family that he was not in love with, but something happens to her mother. Unfortunately, she passes away. Therefore, her father ends up marrying his first love, has a child, and this child has amazing, mysterious, supernatural powers, which Mio unfortunately doesn't have. In doing so, basically her stepmother turns into basically a wicked witch, so to speak, and is really horrible to Mio, treats her like a servant girl along with her stepsister, and things just go very much downhill from there. However, Mio gets sent to a family, a noble family, for an arranged marriage, and things look like they're about to get better, so fingers crossed they do. But yeah, volume 1 was very interesting. We saw a little bit of our main guy lead supernatural powers at the end, which was quite nice, because although they alluded to those supernatural powers, we never actually saw anything from any of the other members of the family. So yeah, super excited. Definitely knew nothing about this series going into it other than the fact that it was quite loved, or at least the light novel was. So I'm definitely going to go the manga route only because I'm not too much of a light novel reader. But yeah, super excited to get volume 2 of this when it comes out. I may or may not have pre-ordered it already. But yeah, this is a volume that I paid full price for and some, so £12 from Days, because I saw it in there and I got way too excited and couldn't wait because I'm impatient. So next we have Seven Seas, and I only got 2 volumes from Seven Seas this month for Shojo and Josei, and that first one being Kageki Shoujo volume 1. So this is the sequel series to the omnibus Kageki Shoujo The Curtain Rises. I haven't read this volume yet, but you guys know I read the Omni and really quite enjoyed it. It's my first experience learning about an all-female troupe, from Japan, so it was very interesting for me. I'm super intrigued to find out more about the characters, about the crew, about the group, sorry, about the dynamic. So yeah, I cannot wait to sit down and read this. I might grab a couple more volumes just to have a couple to binge, because I quite liked doing that with the Omni. The fact that there was a few volumes in one, I quite enjoyed that, so I think I'm probably going to do the same with this. Hopefully I could pick it up on 3 for 2 when I go for my trip at the end of the month, so fingers crossed. But definitely not a typical shoujo for me. I'm so happy that I took on the advice of Chrissy Lou. She was hyping this series up so much, and I felt like I needed to see what the hype was, and I'm super happy that I kind of stepped out my comfort zone a little bit for this one. So yeah, thank you very much, Chrissy Lou, for the recommendation. Then we have something that's a little bit more spicy. Whoops. Then we have something, oh my god, it happened again. 2 book drops for the price of 1. Going back to the manga. So next is something that's a little bit more spicy, and that is a Game Between the Suits, done by the Seven Seas imprint Steamship. Now this is the 2nd volume from that first few releases that I've picked up. I'm still yet to pick up Ladies on Top, and there was one other. I'll put a little photo here. I have to say, from the 2 that I've read so far, this is probably my least favourite. I don't particularly like the character designs. I prefer characters with a little bit more meat on my bones. These for me were a little bit too like tiny. I just didn't like the character design at all. I'm not too keen on the main lead. I don't know, there's something about him that I just don't like. But I'm going to continue reading this series regardless, because I want to really support and get behind this imprint. It's not often that a publishing company actually listens to their readers and delivers on what we've been asking for. So the fact that they're giving us more content catered towards adult females with more mature themes, I am super behind this. Like, yeah, I'm gonna pick this up just for the sake of supporting it. And I believe it's not too many volumes either, so it's not too much of a financial burden for me. So the publisher we have up next is Kodansha. So I managed to finish a series with this particular volume, and that is volume 11 of Living Room Matsunaga-san. I really loved this series. Now, don't get me wrong, like, I know age gap romances are not for everybody, but for me this one was just so cute, so sweet. So yeah, I loved it. Living Room Matsunaga-san is gorgeous. I loved the relationship they had. I loved the border house and all the people that live inside the border house. I felt like the character dynamics were so much fun. The story was fun. The only thing that I had a gripe with was the end 2 volumes. There was a certain situation that happened that I felt like really didn't do much for the series at that moment in time. I felt like they should have done that a few volumes prior and explored that option a little bit more than what they did before we had the conclusion, if that makes sense. I'm kind of alluding to what's happening without actually telling you, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But it was such a good read. I loved this. I'll probably go back and reread this again. I feel like I preferred this series over Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight. I feel like Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight was really good, and I preferred that over Happy Marriage. However, I feel like I agree with some of my fellow manga tubers when they said that they wish that the female lead was aged up slightly. And yeah, I have to agree. If she was in college rather than high school, I feel like that series would have flowed a lot better than it actually did. But I did enjoy it nonetheless, and just as much as I enjoyed Kiss Me at the Stroke of Midnight, I enjoyed Living Room Matsunaga-san more. So moving on to some vampire trash, some good vampire trash, and that is Vampire Dormitory volume, what volume is this? 6 by Enma Toyama? Yeah, this series is good. I have nothing else to say of it other than the fact that it's a little bit smutty, it's cute, It's vampires, and I love a good vampire trashy series. This is the good kind. Rose and Blood just doesn't give me anything other than really pretty, gorgeous artwork. I don't know, I feel like with that one I'm going to have to buy all of the volumes and probably sit and binge read them because I don't really understand what's going on. It's really confusing and makes no sense. This, on the other hand, makes a whole lot of sense. It's a high school romance series about vampires, and that's all I'm going to say because it's beautiful. I love the art style. I just love everything about it. I love everything about it. It's kind of like a gender bender kind of situation going on with our main female character. She's dressed as a male, and basically our guy on the front here, he's a vampire and he cannot drink from females for whatever reason, so she ends up moving in with him but disguised as a male, and he doesn't know, and certain situations arise and shenanigans happen, and it's so much fun, and we have a love triangle, and it's just so much fun, and I love it. And it's probably my favorite Emma Toyama series. Missions of Love was not my thing. I did not enjoy it, but this one is good. Then we have a older series published by Kodansha, and that is My Little Monster. Apparently I can't read today. So My Little Monster, this is a series that I've had in my collection for a while, and I've only had volume 1 and 2. I've been waiting for a deal to come up on this on eBay for a whole lot, but every time it does I always miss it, so I'm super pissed about that. But I found a couple volumes for well under retail, so I thought I might as well just jump on them. Volumes 4, 5, I think it's like a high school delinquent kind of romance, but it's so much fun. And 6, I'm kind of pissed because I missed out on volume 3 for like £3.99 on eBay. I had it in my basket and I was like, oh, do I, don't I, and then I missed out on volume 3, but I will pick that up eventually. This is just a 13 volume series, so I have got 5 out of the 13 at the moment. I think I've got one more volume on its way, and I believe that's volume 10, so I don't have too many to collect after that. But yeah, I'm super excited to get on with this one. I really enjoyed the first 2 volumes. I think my next older one that I've got in my collection that I'd like to get hold of is Hatsuharu, because that is a romance but from the male perspective, and I really liked the first volume that I read from that. But yeah, looking out for deals for that as well. Okay, so now on to the second to last publisher, and that is Yen Press. I've picked up quite a decent amount of Yen Press this month, considering Yen Press for me is a publisher that's quite pricey, very much like Kodansha. However, Yen Press never really seems to have any discounts online, which sucks, but I couldn't help myself. The series that I picked up, I'm super happy that I picked up, and if I have to pay full retail for them, I will do. But the first being No Longer Heroine, volume 1. This I saw in Dave's Comics along with the next one and My Happy Marriage? Yeah, My Happy Marriage. So I did pay full retail for this. However, the premise seems really interesting. This girl thinks she is the center attention of her own shoujo manga, and I feel like unfortunate things are going to happen to her, so she's not going to have necessarily the fairy tale whirlwind of a romance as she pictures in her head. So yeah, I'm super excited to get on with this one. I haven't read it yet, but the art looks really pretty. I've heard nothing but good things about this. However, I have heard that it can get quite toxic, and I don't care. I kind of love a toxic romance or a toxic drama series. There's nothing better than reading stuff like that. It just, something that makes you feel all sorts of emotions, whether it's anger, happiness, like you want to throw your volume across the room, like anything that evokes emotion is a good read. So I cannot wait to see what happens in this series and what it's about. I feel like this dude on the back might be the love interest or the best friend, but I don't know. As I say, I haven't read it. But if you have read this series, let me know your thoughts down below. Is it a toxic series? Is it something that you think that I won't enjoy? Let me know down in the comment section down below, because I'm super interested, because obviously I've gone in pretty blind with this one. I'm trusting the shoujo manga community on this. I don't know. Then we have a series that I am super happy I picked up. I had no idea what this was about. I didn't even know I had a series by this mangaka already, Daytime Shooting Star. So when I picked this up and I was like, oh, this art style seems familiar, I wonder why. And then I checked the author and I was like, oh my god, of course, Daytime Shooting Star. But I picked up Tsubaki Cho Lonely Planet Volume 1. This is another age gap romance. And I've already read this volume here. Basically, this girl on the front, what's this girl's name? Fumi Ono. Basically, she is paying off her father's debt and he ends up borrowing money from a loan shark and ended up running away and leaving Fumi to basically pay off the debt while he's trying to fish and be on the boat somewhere and help pay towards what's going on. But he puts her in a house boarding situation where she is basically a living, not caretaker, but kind of like a cleaner or a maid or however you want to call it, to a novelist, a young novelist in, I believe, his 20s. I could be wrong, but I'm not quite sure. But yeah, basically she's kind of somebody that is just interested in saving money wherever she can, and is not really interested in guys. However, this novelist guy has been there for her through a bit of a situation that happened in the first volume, and she started to possibly have feelings for him. But yeah, I'm really interested to see where this series goes. I'm not too bothered by age gap romances, to be honest, so for me, I'm quite happy with reading this as long as it doesn't get creepy. But yeah, I cannot wait to see where this series goes. The artwork, the art style is gorgeous. I love the covers on the front with these gorgeous flowers. They're so pretty, absolutely stunning. So I have pre-ordered volume 2, and I've also pre-ordered this mangaka's newer work that's coming out, licensed by Kodansha. For life of me, I can't remember what it's called, but I'll probably insert a photo. But yeah, I've read that first volume as well, and that is fantastic. So I cannot wait to get on with reading this, the newer one, and also finishing up my collection of A Daytime Shooting Star. So that is on my shopping list for my trip at the end of the month, so fingers crossed. Moving on to the chunkiest part of my yen press haul, that is Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts, volume 1 to 5 and 7. I hope the camera is picking this up. Is it doing it? There we go. This is an absolute gorgeous series. I picked this up purely based on Shaygeet's out recommendation quite a while ago. I heard that it was really, really good, and it kind of gave what's the word, like Yona of the Dawn vibes, but it's more political than Yona of the Dawn, and it has beast people rather than mythical dragons and stuff. But honestly, I was pleasantly surprised. This series is gorgeous, and I cannot wait to pick up volume 6. It's got a lot of dark themes or underlining themes in this. Basically, the beast people have been fighting with humanity for hundreds and hundreds of years, and the Beast King basically takes a sacrifice every couple of years, or for ceremonial purposes he eats humans. However, there's a slight twist. Our Beast King, which is this dude on the front, basically doesn't eat the sacrifices. He sets them free, spoiler, but it says that in the first volume, so it's not really. And basically he forms this sort of alliance, friendship, relationship with our newest sacrifice. I think her name is Seraphi, and he wants her as her queen. But bearing in mind, all the beast people do not like humans. They've been fighting with them for hundreds of years. They are not happy with the fact that he would like to take a human queen. So they are putting them through trials and tribulations in order to find out if she's worthy of being queen. But it's more a facade to try and get her out of the kingdom and basically get her killed. But it's such a good series. This series is finished with 15 volumes, and it is, again, published by Impress. It's amazing. I'm so pleased that I picked this one up, because it was one that I'd been sleeping on for quite a long time. So if you are interested in this, pick it up, because I'm not sure how long it will be in print for, because you know what Impress are like. things go out of print quite easily, so pick them up while you can, because it is a good story. It's a great story, trust me. So last but not least, for the Yen Press portion of this video, I have volume, or the one-shot, Josei, the Tiger and the Fish. This is based on, I believe, the movie, which I also have right here. I've watched the movie and it is so heartbreakingly beautiful. Like, oh, I literally sobbed for 15-20 minutes after watching that movie. It was gorgeous. So the fact that this has come out and we have now the volume or the story in manga form, the artwork, oh my goodness, I cannot wait to sit down and read this. From flicking through the actual manga, it's pretty much exactly the same as the movie, so there won't be anything new in terms of content in this, but I'm just so happy that I have this in my collection. It's absolutely gorgeous. The release is gorgeous, the artwork is stunning. Like, yeah, this is probably one of my favorite releases this year. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I don't want to say too much, but it's a beautiful Josei series about this guy on the back as he becomes a caretaker for Josei. She's a young girl in a wheelchair. He takes her out to discover the world because her grandmother is very much overprotective of her, because the world outside is scary and not very kind to people with disabilities. And basically he shows her that there is a life outside there beyond the four walls that her nan has kept her, and it's just absolutely stunning. I just cannot recommend this series enough. It's beautiful and it's a one and done, so easy on the wallet, although it's pretty thick and it was about 16 quid, but one and done, sold. So moving on to the final publisher of this haul, and that is the imprint Shojo Beat, done by Viz Media. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably a good third of the entire haul as a whole. I did get a lot from Viz Media, but I got a lot of stuff that was secondhand, sort of like between £3 to £4/5. So yeah, I was quite happy with the amount that I managed to get for my money, and I couldn't help myself. There were some restocks that I had to get just in case they go out of stock again, and that is it. So there's going to be a good mixture of series as a whole in this part of the haul, but let's go with some of the stuff that I got the most volumes of. So all of these volumes that I'm about to show you were brought for under the retail, significantly under retail, probably £4.50 and less, and that is a good chunk of anonymous noise. I know Kate Tins from Kate Tins Does Manga is going to absolutely appreciate this gorgeous rainbow coloured spines, but I managed to pick up volume 2 of Anonymous Noise. I've watched the anime of this particular series and really enjoyed it, but it left on such a cliffhanger that I was just like, I can't just leave it there. I have to find out what happens next. This is a music series, a romantic music series. The anime was beautiful, so it just sort of enticed me to pick up the manga. I have to say, the only thing that I'm not too keen on about this series is the kind of elongated limbs and the pointiness. I don't know if you guys can see sort of like the pointy angles of the faces. I know in some of these volumes, like, or the earlier volumes, there we go, let me show you. The art style is not necessarily my cup of tea, but I feel like the more I get into this series, the more I'm going to really enjoy it. And I'm only a few volumes off completing it. I believe there's 18 volumes, and I have I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So just 10 more volumes, so it's not too much of an investment. And hopefully I'll be able to find some of these secondhand as well as my trip at the end of the month. Next up is a series that I've had in my collection for the longest time, and I've finally been able to complete secondhand via eBay, numerous shops on eBay, and all for under retail, and that is Otoman volumes 9 through 18. This is done by the same mangaka as Requiem as the Rose King, so this is one of her earlier works, but it's definitely a series that might not have aged very well for many people. It basically follows this dude on the front here. I cannot remember his name. It's been the longest time. Is it Asuka? Yeah, Asuka. Basically, he is a guy that enjoys traditionally feminine hobbies, or traditionally known feminine hobbies, so stuff like sewing, cooking, handicraft, stuff like that. And basically his mum is not too happy about it and would prefer him to be more of a manly man, because his father left the family when they were younger and basically it's traumatized his mother. So he now feels like he has to put on this masculine persona, and he meets this woman, or this girl in high school, this young girl in high school, and she kind of has the opposite. Her dad is very manly and feels like men should be men, but it's definitely an interesting one. I've read the first volume again and I feel like this is not going to be a series for everyone, but I'm interested to find out where the story ends. Obviously, looking at this final volume, we all know where it ends, but it's definitely not going to be a series for everyone. I feel like it's probably not one, as I say, that's aged well in terms of topics that it has in it, but I'm super excited to have it in the collection and finally have it complete after having it for over 6 years. So yes, I'm super happy with that. So moving on to a couple of restocks. Now I feel like I might have hauled a couple of these volumes previously, so I do apologise, but I was able to pick up volumes 5, 19, 20 and 21 of Nana, and actually some of the other volumes came back into stock the last couple of days, so I have jumped on those pretty quickly. So I feel really happy with how my Nana collection is coming along, because these have been out of stock for quite a long time, and the fact that a lot of them are getting reprinted and very quickly in quick succession of each other is absolutely amazing. I don't know too much about this other than it is very much critically acclaimed in the shoujo community. I know Tiffany from Himika has read this and really enjoyed it. I feel like I might have watched a little bit of the anime when I was younger, but I've watched so many animes that I don't remember exactly what it's about, other than it's about two different girls with the same name following very different paths and how they meet and their interactions. So I'm super interested to find out what happens in the series when I finally have a good chunk, so I can binge read a good chunk of it. So the last stack of this haul has quite a mixture of series, some old, some new, some finishing out series, some filling in gaps. So another series that I've managed to finish over the last couple of months is A Devil and Her Love Song. I had to purchase a lot off of eBay to finish this series, because the last few volumes that I needed were quite a bit more expensive than the lot to buy individually. So I was just like, oh screw it, I might as well buy the lot and then just sell the other volumes that I've already purchased. So the volumes that I needed to complete that series was volume 9, oops, these covers are gorgeous, 11 and 12. So this is an older shoujo high school romance following a young girl, Maria, as she transfers to a new high school, because she's a very blunt and zero filtered type person, and she didn't get along very well in her previous school, so she's gone into this new school and basically she's trying to change herself as a person and help others as well. But she has a beautiful voice and the guys in this series are super impressed by it. But yeah, that was a really crappy explanation as to what this series is about. It's been such a long time since I've read any of this series, so I feel like I'm going to have to do a binge read and finish all of them, because it's only 13 volumes long. But this was such a fun read when I read it quite a long time ago, so I can't wait to finish up the series. I know this one isn't particularly easy to find nowadays, which is a shame, because it is a really good shoujo and high school romance. So yeah, hopefully this will come back into stock for people to pick up in the future, because this is a good one that shouldn't be slept on. It's an oldie but a goodie. Talking about an oldie but a goodie, I have picked up 3 more volumes of Orisama Teacher. So that is volumes 22, 23 and 25. There's only 28 or 29 volumes in this series, so I'm not too far away from having this one complete. This is another high school romance kind of series. Follows a girl on the front, and I think her name is Mafuyu, this one here. Basically, she is a high school delinquent and gets kicked out from her previous school. She moves to a new prefecture to start a new life, to get her like gangster days or delinquent days behind her. However, things do not turn out the way she plans, as she meets an old high school friend who's a few years older than her, that so happens to be a new teacher, and he kind of blackmails her into being kind of like the punishment committee, where they go around and making sure everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing and sorting them out. And it's such a fun comedic read. I cannot wait to have this series complete, to give it a binge read, because it is a lot of fun. I've read the first 10 volumes, I have the first 19 now, 22, 23 and 25, so I cannot wait to have it complete, as I say, and give it a binge read, because it is such a fun shoujo. So I would definitely recommend it if you have the opportunity to pick it up. So adding to another older series that I recently picked up in my collection, and that is Tale of the Moon. So I managed to find these for under £4, I think, and that is volume 4 and 7 of Tale of the Moon. So there's only 15 volumes in this series, plus 1 volume which is a prequel, so I'm only a couple of volumes out. I don't really know too much about this series, but what enticed me was the actual art style, and it's done by the same mangaka as Stepping on Roses, and I have read that one and really enjoyed it. This is definitely different from that series. This one is set in a sort of like historical time of setting where there are ninjas and whatnot, so I'm super interested to actually give this one a read. I'm going to hold off until I have all of the volumes before I give this a read, as it's only a 50 volume series, but I know this is another series that is beloved in the shoujo community. I'm just on one of these like shoujo binges at the moment. I'm wanting to go back and pick up a lot of the older stuff that I missed out on when I was a teenager, because when I started collecting manga I was in sort of like my mid to late teens, and so much stuff had already been released before then, sort of like in the late 2000s, mid 2000s, late 2000s, that I missed out on because I never knew manga existed back then. So yeah, I'm kind of going back and hopefully finding some older treasures that I might have missed through not collecting back then, and this is something that seemed to be up my street, so I cannot wait to pick this up. So another series that I'm super close to completing, I've only got 1 volume left to purchase, and that is volume 27. So if any of you guys know of anybody that are selling this particular series and volume 27 of this particular series, please go up and give me a message on Discord or on Instagram or on Twitter or anything like that, because I am 1 volume away from finishing this series, and I really need to have it complete in my collection, because it's something that I've been wanting to read for a very long time, but I'm just missing 1 volume, so I cannot do a binge, and that is Kimi ni Todoke. So I managed to pick up volumes 26 and 30. It concludes at volume 30. So yes, as I say, 1 volume I am missing, and that is volume 27. So yeah, please help a go out, please. I've been super lucky with being able to find these 2 volumes. This one was out of stock for ages, and I set my notifications on Blackwell's and it came up, so I was like, definitely got to pick this one up. And this one I managed to find for under retail, so I was super excited about that on Amazon Marketplace. So yes, this is another high school romance title following this girl on the front. I believe her name is Sawako, and she's very much a quiet kind of teenager with not too many friends, and she's not very good at projecting her voice and speaking her mind. A lot of misunderstandings occur, and basically she is going on this journey to find out about herself, find out about how to make friends and form new bonds and relationships and whatnot. So yeah, this is something that I've been wanting to read for a very, very long time, and I'm so close to completing it. Next up is another series by Ayakano, and that is Requiem of the Rose King, volume 11 and 12. The reason why I picked these two up was because I thought it would be a good idea to watch the anime. Boy, was I wrong. Honestly, I feel like the animation studio seriously dropped their game when it came to animating this series. This could have been such an amazingly animated show, but they just didn't seem to care too much about the animation. At least that's what it felt like. It was very much, I don't know, it didn't have the same feeling as the manga does. The manga has a very dark and sinister feel to it, but the anime just did not have that for me. It lacked atmosphere, whereas the manga is such an atmospheric manga that I just hope anybody that was slightly interested in this series and went via the anime picks up the manga to read it, because the manga is miles better, so much better. But this is done by the same mangaka as Otomen. As you can see, the art style has greatly improved since this one was released. But yeah, it's so beautiful. It's set in medieval England around the War of the Roses, and it's really good. It's really good. I highly recommend it if you are a shonen fan and you're not too sure if you would like to dip your toes into the shoujo scene. Definitely give this one a go, because I feel like you will not be disappointed by it. Again, the art style is gorgeous. The action is amazing, the plot is amazing, and there's a lot of death and gruesome beheadings and fights and everything in this, but it's medieval England, what do you expect? But it's such a great series. Highly recommend. We're almost at the end, guys. There's only 4 more series left to show you, and there's 1 volume per series, so it's going to be a quick one. But the first one being Kami-sama Kiss volume 2. I don't think I've hauled this one. I feel like I've hauled volume 3 but not volume 2. I'm slowly collecting these as and when they come back into stock. I missed out on the restock of volume 15 on Blackwell's, but when I went to purchase my new Nana volumes, the volume 15 was up for pre-order, so I've pre-ordered that. Hopefully they do the same thing with the newer volumes or the new reprints, so we stand a better chance in actually having them. But yes, I'm really interested in this series. I've watched the anime, the first season of the anime, and part of the second season, so I would really like to read the source material. I'm so pissed at myself for not picking this up back in the day when it was first releasing, because oh goddamn are these hard to find, and when you do find them, they're at least 20 to 30 plus pounds per volume, and there's 25 volumes in all. I just cannot bring myself to pay that much for a volume, so it's the waiting game for this. It's the waiting game for this series. Next up is a new release, or it was a new release at the time, and that is volume 5 of Yakuza Lover. You guys know how I feel about Yakuza Lover. This is literally a smutty, trashy series that I can just turn my brain off to, and I absolutely adore it. It just continues to get better for me. There's more plot that happens in this series, whereas before it was just a lot of sex, whereas now it's not. It's got a lot more involved in it, or there seems to be more plot happening. There's people that are more against Oya and Yumi's relationship, so yeah, I'm interested to see where this goes. I've heard that it gets better the further we go in, so yeah, I like this. This is literally smutty trash and I'm here for it. Then we have 2 older out of print shoujo series, which I'm super happy to get my hands on, or at least a couple of volumes of that. And the first being Haruka Beyond the Stream of Time, volume 12. I picked this one up for about £5, so a good bargain. But yeah, this series is super hard to find, and I'm really annoyed that I didn't do my research before picking this up, because some of the volumes are ridiculously expensive. However, reading the synopsis on the back of the first volume, I feel like this is going to be something that's going to be right up my alley. It's given me Fushigi Yugi vibes, where a girl gets transported to a new world. So yeah, I'm really interested to get my hands on the rest of this and see what this series entails. So please let me know, guys, if you see any of these volumes going for cheap. I currently have only volumes 1, 2 and 12, so I'm missing everything else. So if you've happened to come across them, hook a go up, please. I really want to get this one complete because I feel like it's going to be probably one of the best reads that I've had in a very long time. It just, from volume 1, it just gives me that feeling. So please hook a go up if you can. But last but not least, another out of print series that I'm truly kicking myself in the head for not doing more research, but I feel like it was inevitable that it was going to be one that was going to be hard to find considering how old the Shojo logo is. But that is From Far Away volume 2. This volume came on Black Whales for retail, and I've noticed that with some of the older Shojo manga series that they're starting to get restocks because there's such demand for Red River and Basara. Right Stuff has started to list more of the volumes, so I'm hoping that with Right Stuff listing those and them getting a few more reprints thanks to you guys in the US, that they might start to trickle over to the UK. Unfortunately, none of Basara and none of Red River has been available on Amazon or Black Whale so far, and what was available on Book Depository was quite a bit over retail, which I'm not too keen on paying. So hopefully, with the popularity of you guys pre-ordering and boosting those sales over in the US, hopefully they will start to trickle down to the UK. But I'm super excited to get into this series. The art style looks super pretty, definitely early 2000s, and I'm so excited. Let me just show you some of this art style. Yeah, look at that, absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, fingers crossed I can find more of this series for decent prices. Again, if you guys see any of these volumes or wherever you are for decent prices, please give your girl a shout and hook a go up, because I am super wanting to get this complete in my collection. It's just something that has been intriguing me for a long time. Again, I feel like this is going to be another kind of isekai situation that reminds me a lot of Fushigi Yugi, where a girl gets sent to another world and becomes this sort of figure of legend to sort out whatever's going on in the country. So yeah, I'm super interested in this. So yeah, guys, that was my massive haul, or part 2 of my massive haul. As you guys can see, we've got the shonen here going into shoujo, and it wraps all the way around here. So I have filmed my videos back to back, so that's why I've got the same makeup, same hairstyle, same clothes, and the volumes are there. But yeah, that is all I have got time for today. I hope you guys stuck with me and made it all the way to the end, as we are pretty much almost an hour in, and it was a huge haul. But yeah, thank you guys so much if you're able to make it to the end. You guys, you don't know how much you guys mean to me. Like, honestly, even though I'm such a shitty manga tuber for disappearing and then coming back and then disappearing again, you guys still stick around and support me, and it honestly does mean the world to me. But yeah, that's all I got time for you guys today. I hope you guys are doing well and staying happy and healthy. Don't forget to give this video a like, comment and subscribe. You guys know the deal. Pop into the Manga Dudette Discord, which is down below. We would love to have you there. But yeah, that is all for today. I hope to see you in the next one sometime soon. Look out for a Manga Dudette stream that will be coming up in November. Yeah, it will be fantastic to chat with you, but I will see you in the next one, guys. Take care. Bye.